Good morning. Yesterday we anticipated corrective day and we got exactly that. And a bit of a whipsaw kind of a day, which that was a real possibility. And let's see, kind of started with a little whip down, and I went up to resistance, then it chopped down, and pretty much a mess. So what I'm hoping to see today is what we refer to a different kind of correction day. Yesterday was just a kind of running in place day. The body was at the topper part of that wide range candle, looking at the futures, which is all good. Did poke above the highs and then got rejected. And so now we got that's 180 minute. Let's go to our usually hour. I had that 180 so we could look at more data last week. So, all right. So had the run up and the pullback. It didn't get to this support, man. We were looking yesterday at this area for it to pull back into. It didn't get there. And what does that tell us? Well, it tells us that at times support can be created. And we look to the left and see what's there, even if it's beyond what's directly to the left. And if buyers are anxious to get in, they will come in sooner. And as it got down here, right, that was yesterday, and buyers stepped up early, pushed it up there, couldn't go nowhere with it, came back down, and we're getting consolidation. So now for the bullish case, what we like to see, we discussed this in the green room yesterday, about a correction bar. So what's a correction bar? Isn't that a correction bar? Well, yeah, it is a correction bar, but also what we said, I think yesterday morning, was the first reference point of support is a prior bar's low, and resistance being a prior bar's high. So this move up, we covered the internals and why this was different this time and suggesting that this could go higher. Now, it doesn't have to do this, but we look for patterns that historically have a higher percentage of working and we have confidence in. And what I'd want to see is a break below yesterday's low and then a recovery. Now, it's really about retracements. And so that's one way it could do it. It could be down a red bar today, go down there, and then the next day flip right back up and have a green bar. Point is, I want to see it go down below yesterday's low in some way, can close below there, and then the next day come up where it could go down there intraday and then spring right back up again. So yesterday's low, right? See the cursor right there, and it's see there's the 31st. So we get pivot highs, which create resistance. So we've got this little trading range going on here. Just basically stay away until it resolves itself. Now, so major support is down here. Right, high. We want to see this come down and take out this low, which will then make things look, oh, it's getting more bearish. Well, the daily chart's pretty damn bullish. Right? So coming down here and then some stabilization, this is where we'd want to be buyers on that pullback into this area. And of course, then we're going to want to see, okay, some candle formation form, which could, if it did something like this on the 5-minute where it was retesting, some kind of pattern like that could then start an advance that theoretically this, it's going to hit that high up there at 4,200. But because of that correction bar, and it gets a little bit more bearish than what it was here, maybe it takes out some stops and so on. And then we could potentially move up to this resistance area up there around 4,300. Or, you know what? they're just so bullish. They just keep buying here. So far, the market's just running in place, going nowhere, as if it's waiting for some news or something. But it's just sitting here, you know, inside yesterday's body, doing nothing at all. It's going to make it, well, difficult, unless you want to get in there and, trade a really tight little ping pong game going on there. I'd rather not, but some will do that. And so that's what we're looking for today, some kind of move to the downside. Now, SPY, just a measure. I was measuring percentage difference to get up there from Friday's high. It was about 3%. For 1480, it's just inside day. It was lower. It was down at 412.50. Basically nothing. It's just consolidating after this push up. It's just continuing to run in place. So there's that pivot low at 410-ish. And a break below that, especially after this is taken out the high here. And breaking down at that little new high and then coming down below here. Well, it's got an unfilled gap. We got a little support. Buyers are going to have to show up because, and create some support. Again, how do they do that? It forms a pivot. At least look on the 5-minute. It begins to make a turn. There's not much of anything to the left here to stop this from going down. So after a bullish move, a momentum move, it creates a void, which means there's little or no price support, pivots or overlapping bars. So buyers have to step up and new demand has to create a reference point. Now, could that little area right there at 205 be it? Sure. It's like an unfilled gap, and, we'll just see what forms there and what it looks like. Well, so far, prices are just consolidating those gains from Thursday and Friday. And it's choppy. It's choppy. Uptrend, uptrend. Sideways, we call it. It took out this high. It's not in an uptrend yet, but it's got room to go higher. And here's the weekly so far, just running in place, doing nothing. So now SPX, I think it's going to be a little tough. I don't know. I think because the areas it can get to aren't that far away. So last I looked, I was going to premium up here around 42.30-ish. So just an inside day there. If it had a correction day, I would be at, and it was trading up near the high, I would just say, don't even think about doing a call spread. Put spread would be the way to go. But now, this down here is around 40.60, around 40.60, 65 or so. That's within striking distance. So what we want to see is prices move one way or the other. And so yesterday afternoon, when we saw prices pushing up, we had the tick going to an extreme for the second time. There were several things going on that I explained, and we did a spread up at 42.10. So it was far enough away after the markets ran at a certain time of day, after the ticks went to an extreme, and it made sense that the momentum would slow down. And it did. And that's what and actually it pulled back at that point. So it was like, not only did the momentum slow, prices pull back, and that was perfect to, take some of the juice, the premium out of those things. So I think today, especially since it's just not going anywhere, is to wait and see which way it's going to go and compare the premiums then when it does go one way or the other, and we make a decision. But, it can go either way. So I just don't know. So I think it's better to wait and see which way prices go early on, and then we make a decision. Q's doing nothing. Little body up there, flipped up, flipped down. Overall, just chopping around down here, starting to make a higher low. Let's drag that up there. There's nothing up above. In reality, this has the most potential because there's nothing there. It cleared this pivot. I'd still like to see it dip down here. Whereas a day trade, we could be buyers at the appropriate moment. So maybe it goes down there. We get a big negative minus 1,000 tick reading. So I'm looking where that little overlapping area is. That looks like a bit deep, that overlapping area right there. And then we're seeing where the 20 MA is. I mean, if it's going to dip down, we just want to see it come down under yesterday's low. It doesn't have to come down that mid. It could maybe touch the top there. So above the 20 MA would be a place to focus. If it came down looking for it to make a turn, and it already tagged at 1250, which is, the whole number, but it pivoted there. So now we've got these pivot highs, and so not too far away. This is suggestive that it could go up, but maybe this can keep going. I don't know. We'll see. So if it gets up, then it keeps going there, and it clears these highs, it begins to change everything, because now this becomes a significant support area. If it can clear that. Right now, we just got a little trading range going on. Qs are 310. Let's get rid of that. So, same, more about nothing. Not much going on here. Cleared the high. It's got room to go up. Just buyers are not ready to commit at this point. A little more sideways price action or a dip where traders feel comfortable, buying a lower prices on a pullback. And so we're waiting to see if that happens. So this has brought a lot of stocks up to areas of resistance that could be turning. One that we looked at the end of the day yesterday, and I mentioned, was this, that ran up and it was kind of starting to roll over. It's over here, some kind of additional little retest if this is going to fail. Part of our conversation yesterday was maybe the markets will even correct a bit. They started off negative, interest rates starting to move back up again. We talked about this rounding top, but this starting to move up, and interest rates moving up, and what's the dollar doing? It's just kind of hanging there. So far, we just, we had that move last week, and right now markets are consolidating that, trying to figure out, can this thing go higher? Was that just another one of those bear market blips? We know it wasn't just the same as the other blips, because, this came way up here as high as it did, which it hasn't done recently. So that's a good thing. And we're just trying to stay out of harm's way here for the most part, meaning the chop. Spreads, 0 DTE, great. I wish stocks had 0 DTE every day. YM up a couple of hundred, but inside day, nothing going on. Same story here. Bigger time frames, big rolling top to the downside, coming up to resistance where sellers will be, and some kind of retest pattern here. So maybe this rolls back over eventually, maybe in another week or whatever. Some other pattern, right now, this is suggesting up until proven otherwise. No correction bar, breaking a prior bar's low. There's a whipsaw back and forth day. Russell, whipsaw back and forth day, just consolidating up there. Same 60-minute chart, boring, right? Same hourly chart. Bitcoin broke out in a downtrend, but broke out. Last week, we saw this pre-market. It was pushing under the lows, which was suggesting, hey, if this is going to go down, the markets will go down, but it ripped right back up again. And now we've got this wide range bar. Well, factory work, stay in the middle of the wide range bar. Does it stay in the upper third? Is it bullish? So far, it's bullish. It's chopping around. It's got room to go up. Bitcoin can start going up. The markets seem to like that. Markets can go up to those resistance areas. If Bitcoin falls back under 30,000, you should know about it. Set an alert. If it breaks out above the highs, you should know about it. Crude oil, it went up there and it got slammed. Right? I don't know why, but I know there's a shock pattern there where this consolidation was bullish and it popped up to the whole number and it just got slammed. And now we've got all these oil ETFs and oil stocks with these big red bars. So this market is a little treacherous. Be careful. Now, that being said, when I look at this, and sometimes you have to imagine things without changing the chart, meaning we were looking for this to go up and we did. Now, other than the tail, there's nothing wrong. I mean, that's right. Somebody got caught there, but overall, this is a relatively large tail, but now it's coming back. And does it break a prior day's low? And so we see things like these candles, which have meaning. And we always have to put them in the context of, well, all right, they got a big topping tail. Did it break a prior bar's low? Well, no, it didn't. So buyers are kind of like saying, well, that was a weird thing, but I'm still buying. Well, then how far can it retrace into that tail? So can crude oil get above here? I'm not trading crude oil, but I'm going to set an alert. I'm going to have a little thumbnail chart to keep an eye on that. And I'm going to have a little thumbnail chart to keep an eye on Bitcoin to give me a guide as to what's happening in the equity markets, what might influence. And I'm going to have a little thumbnail on interest rates and the dollar and the tick. And we shall see. One of the things yesterday that was a little, it kind of was some extent right, but on another level, it was like, maybe it's a bit of an indication of strength that it didn't fall apart further, but the advancers minus decliners were down like 1,700 minus 1,700. Right? On that day, on Thursday or Friday, it was plus like 2,300, which is very positive to be above 2,000. And so yesterday it was here and down a little below that. And that's pretty negative, but in the context of moving up. And, the markets just whipped around. So there was quite a bit of selling going on based on that measurement, but it didn't do any damage to the daily chart. So that was a corrective day, but to us want to buy, the ideal scenario is for it to break a prior day's low and then spring back up again. I mean, we just know that based on that kind of a wiggle, if you will, right? Breaking some kind of support and coming back again. Odds are lower that we won't be wiggled if we buy a move above a prior bar's high. Right? McGraw is sharing that he is in a crude oil iron condor. I would assume it must be pretty far away. So I don't know. If I had to guess, it would be above here. Me, below there. Oh, wow, you get that far away. 90 and 142. That's a no-brainer. Excellent. I'm saying way down here. So when there's that kind of juice, usually it's on one side or the other. But I don't know. What does that read to you? Such bullish bets so far away and bearish bets so far away to have that kind of premium. Whereas, SPX, what we cover, it's getting tighter. Where, prior to this down here or whatever, I mean, on the way down here, it was so far away that we looking at those as no brainers. But all right, it's getting kind of late here, and let Dan take over. Transports, same stuff everywhere. Markets are running in place. We'll see what happens today. Yeah, all yours, Dan.
Good morning. Hey, John. All right, all our opens are fine, so let's just go right to some gappers of interest. Raoul DK. Not sure what you're looking at on DK. Broke out, neutral, I don't know. It's an ascending triangle though, and an uptrend. SQM selling off here. This is a bearish 180 reversal after a climb-o. This is a bear call credit spread watch for me. Moody's MCO earnings getting whacked here, 267. So SPGI is in the same sector, 308. Wow, those are some ugly gaps. We'll come back to them. I don't think Now had earnings, but their CEO was on CNBC talking, so I obviously look at it. Breakout bottoming pattern, but it's nothing to do here. Chewy, we had sold a way out of the money $18 put into earnings, and it's flat here, so that we're we're going to get that volatility crush. Plug 1, 2, 3. I posted as a put spread over yesterday's high, but it's also a little directional watch. Delta came out, reaffirmed earnings, guidance or whatever. Jets, I was talking about this Jets turn right on this day, and I didn't do it, but look at that, bullish reversal and support. We just found better patterns, but that did slice through a bunch of resistance. I was also looking at RCL at the time. It's just a little climb-o, the thing bounced. AMBA $79. All right, bearish gap, minor support. Not sure what to do with that. Well, me, I gotta put it in a window and see how it stabilizes. Apps earnings getting whacked, $21. Wow, that's a big whackage. I'm gonna put that in a window and just see where buyers step up under the category of it's a big gap, even though a bearish one. Hewlett Packard, strong, but top of the range, so I don't like it. Oh, there's your AMBA right there. Oh, cream is the cream today. Earnings gapping over a red bar. Oh man, it's running too much. It was at $1.75 when I posted a put spread. McGraw, did you see this? Well, here, and for you all late people, there's that I posted, but this is the one is my favorite, McGraw. Look right here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, no, I'll be watching it. I got my put screen up. DHR is another one, a 1, 2, 3. Greg mentioned yesterday. I posted this over the high. McGraw, it's spready, but let's see if the high bid pops in. What McGraw and I are talking about, we go high bid put hunting. We find a bullish pattern, pull up the quote, see if there's a big unusual bid far out of the money and pop it. McGraw, you know what? Let's talk about it later. That would be an awesome scan if we can have TAS just look for unusual bids like that. All right, DCI, top of the range, no interest. I don't like the way it trades either. LI, EV said something about deliveries. Dash already broke out double bottom. That would be nice on a pullback. I'm gonna put that in a window. Dash. No Visco, no pattern of, wow. Now that is not what we call a W bottom, but it's a retest bottoming pattern. Price void daily, weekly. So that we, obviously missed the entry, but that was a nice little pattern. Con, no pattern, earnings, Capri, gapping up too much and it's extended. There's our cream. McGraw looking at cream puts. The spreads are asinine. I'm just looking like we do for an unusual big bid way out of the money. And I do not see one. I don't see one. I don't, well, if you do for next week, there's a lot of air under there. And me personally, I'm going to wait a little bit. I know, John, I was looking at Amazon this morning and I was kicking myself. I know we talked about it for a pre-split run. And that's exactly what happened. That worked beautifully. Netflix, we put on a directional yesterday. My up alarm just went off. Oh, 5-minute charts here off and running. Then Netflix, I don't think we got filled on the put spread yesterday. So we might have to go out to next week. If somebody did get filled, tell me. Netflix next week. How low can we go? Here's 180. All right, I like this. $180, $160. Yeah, whenever you hear news about jets, John, you're right. Yeah, we got to look at Boeing also. Netflix. June 3rd, 180, 160. Shop. Sloppy. What are you thinking? What are you thinking, John? Put spread, but he's spready also. A bank, Boeing. Over, it's, it got slapped down, but over the high maybe. I prefer I'd prefer it better in the afternoon because it's up 4 bars. PRDS short, but bio. Not crazy about it. Look how it trades. So that's light volume. I posted one as a long watch. Here, an advisory letter. This thing.